multi-exposure shots. Now, this is one of the long-time effects that can be used in photography to create some really trippy effects. As usual with any of my videos concerning, a more historical theme, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how things worked in the past, and then we're going to move on to actually looking at how relevant it is still today. So, well, I hope you're looking forward to this. You're watching another Random Wednesday episode on 0612 TV. Hello and welcome back to another Random Wednesday episode. So right, multiple exposures. What is it and how does it work? So back in the day when we actually had film cameras, well, a multiple exposure is exactly as its name implies. You have one square of film that you expose more than once. As you can imagine, this will create an effect of essentially multiple photos being stacked together, and well, up till today, that is the effect we're trying to emulate. The effect of multiple exposure photography looks something like this. These are pictures I've taken off Flickr of actually artistic people doing this. I tried to collect some multiple exposure shots myself, but I don't think they look anywhere as good as these. So yeah, well, if you want to see more of the pictures from these guys, you can actually expand the video description and you'll get links to the original pictures. So let's try and dissect what's happening here. Now, first, let's think of this in terms of film. When you actually expose a piece of film to light, essentially, the photosensitive chemicals on the film actually undergo some changes when light hits those bits of the film. Obviously, the brighter the amount of light hitting that area, the more changes will happen. Whereas, of course, areas exposed to less light will have less of these changes happen. Now, what's interesting in these pictures is the fact that, well, you can actually achieve some interesting masking effects. The areas that were already extremely exposed in the first picture will essentially already turn out whitish, or in fact completely white. What this means is you will not see bits of the second image when they fall into that same area, for the very simple reason that all the chemical changes have already happened, it's already saturated at that area. However, the places that were dark in the first picture will actually allow the second picture to stack better. This is in fact the whole idea behind using multiple exposures for an artistic purpose. By blowing out certain areas of the picture while allowing other areas to be dark, you can actually sort of have a very nice mix of two pictures, but only at certain portions. So enough of history, let us actually move on to talking about how we can do this in modern photo editing. Now, in order to follow along with this tutorial, you'll need an image editing program that supports multiple layers and layer blending options. I'm personally using GIMP 2.8, but really almost any application will do because we will not be invoking any of the extremely fancy kind of effects. So alright, where is the magic? Now, remember what I said about the film earlier? Essentially, you are exposing the film twice. So basically what we're doing is we're giving the film two chances at being exposed now. And of course what that means is the total amount of light that the film will collect will of course be more. Now, there's actually one layer blending option in our image editing program that very closely mirrors this, and that in fact is the addition method. In fact, that's exactly what you want to use to achieve this effect. So what I have here are two random photos that, I just decide to stack together. What you want to do is you want to load up both these pictures as layers, and you want to set the uppermost layer to addition. Now right off the bat, you already see these two images bleeding into each other in a pretty interesting way. And of course, similarly to the way I described it earlier, which of course is the fact that, well, the brighter parts essentially don't show any form of blending, whereas the darker parts will show blending more clearly. But this doesn't have that kind of punch we normally see, and here are some tweaks you can actually do to sort of increase this effect. First of all, set your pictures to black and white. Now, I have to confess this is more of a trendy thing than anything else, simply because, well, a lot of multiple exposure pictures are done in black and white. There is an aesthetic reason for this, of course. If you don't convert it to black and white, then, well, the colors will be there, and most of the time it seems that they will not actually mesh very well. Of course, if you find a combination that works together, then by all means keep the color. But if you're not entirely comfortable with the way the picture has turned out, you can actually try desaturating both the layers, and perhaps in black and white, the effect will look much better. Now, we can then move on to actually do some tweaks to the levels of each individual layer. This one is very subjective, and you only need to do it if you feel that, the image isn't popping enough. What I'm doing here is I'm actually increasing the contrast of both the layers. What this means is the black parts will get really transparent and really show through the other layer, whereas the white parts will really go up to white, it will really blow out, and it will look clean, as opposed to just a slight mixing between the two layers. Once again, this is of course up to your own artistic vision. Do whatever you have to do to make it look right. Now, one other thing I find quite suitable for this is actually doing a soft focus effect. In order to do this, you first need to tweak your levels until you are mostly okay. Then you want to actually merge the two layers and then duplicate the layer. Grab the top layer and apply some form of blurring to it. Then reduce the opacity of the blurred layer. You can optionally also set the layer blending mode of that layer to addition as well. What this does is it adds a little dreamy glow to basically what is in the picture. If you use the addition blending option, then things will actually appear even more glowy. Whereas if you use the normal option with just reduced opacity, what you're gonna get is just a little blurry effect. So once again, this one is up to you, however you want to finagle with this. The key concept is just mixing the two layers using an addition blending option. So yeah, there you have it. That is how you actually do multiple exposure shots in an image editing program. Quite a few modern cameras also allow you to do this in camera. I'm guessing the technique they use is almost exactly the same, if not exactly the same. Some tips to getting these shots to look good is of course to pay attention to what you want to blow out and what you want to keep dark. Because of course these differences in brightness is what you're using to control what shows through and what doesn't. So yeah, there you have it. That is the multiple exposure effect. That's all there is for this particular video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, you're watching 0612 TV. Hello, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, remember that I appreciate every like, favorite, and comment you give me. If you'd like to see more from me in the future, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And for more updates outside of YouTube, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at 0612TV. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.